Hello there, good afternoon, and welcome back to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. My name is Robert K. Sarkos. Thank you for tuning back into the channel. Welcome to the world of football where the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat come together. Speaking of agony, I'm sure Manchester United fans are already experiencing that following their 1-0 defeat against Newcastle, while Arsenal fans are basking in the thrill of victory after managing to beat up against Wolverhampton Wanderers by 2-1. So, quite interesting action, quite very thrilling as we expected it to be from the Premier League's match day 14. So, let's have a run through some of these results and what those results mean to that Premier League table. We'll kick things off at the Emirates Stadium where Arsenal beat up against Wolverhampton Wanderers by 2-1. It was a nervy ending, but it did tell the perfect story for the entire game. Arsenal were quite dominant. They did create loads of chances, but were not as clinical as they had been earlier on in midweek when they beat Lons by 6-0. So they could only manage to score 2. Bukayo Saka on the score sheet there with Takahiro Tomiyasu providing the assist. Minutes later, it was Martin Odegaard who also scored in midweek, again scoring with Alexander Zinchenko, who had quite a mixed game, providing the assist for that second goal. In subsequent moments, we had Gabriel Martinelli hit the woodwork in the first half, while Edin Nketiah was the other culprit that also hit the woodwork. And then in the second half, still Declan Rice winning the ball in the area and then Zinchenko taking it out of his stride, only to leave it in the path of Matthias Cunha, who then scored to give Wolves hope for securing a point in the game, but it was never to be. So 2-1 it ended at the Emirates Stadium. Brilliant performances from the likes of Martin Odegaard, who was my man of the match for that game. And then you had Gabriel Jesus and Bukayo Saka, who I thought had wonderful games. Takahiro Tomiyasu did walk off the pitch in what seemed to be a suspected calf injury, but we'll wait to hear more on that. He was eventually substituted for Ben White to come on in that one. So Arsenal kept their top spot, moving 4 points clear before Manchester City get into action with Tottenham, which by the time you are watching this video could have already been played. So that was the result. Beautiful performance. Yes, Zinchenko had a couple of other nervy moments, but we all know that defensively he lacks some qualities, but he does compensate for those when he plays fantastically going forward. With action coming in the midweek, still in the Premier League for match day 15, begs the question whether he will still be given the chance. My feel is that he should be played against Luton Town, but when they play Aston Villa next weekend, maybe he may want to swap Tomiyasu for that left back role, especially given that they do not have the Urian Timber and then have Ben White slotted back into that right back role. But that will be dependent on whether Takahiro Tomiyasu is fit to play, but we'll wait to see how all that spans out. In the other game of the weekend, we had Brentford beat up against Luton Town by 3-1 in that game. Neil Mopi on the score sheet, Ben Mee and Shadon Baptiste then scoring for Thomas Frank's side, while Jacob Brown scored the only consolation for Luton Town in that game. They had a goal disallowed for offside, which would have made it 3-2 at the time, so that goal was cancelled. And then Sheffield were humiliated in a 5-0 thumping by Burnley, who came into matchday 14 as the ones bottom of that Premier League table. Yes, Sheffield United were reduced to 10 men in the first half when Oli McBurn was given a red card, but that didn't stop the rout from Burnley. It actually only intensified it. It was just like, throwing a pile of matches on gasoline. So it was J. Rodriguez, Bran Larsen, Maduoni, Colesho, and Brownhill that scored for Vincent Kompany's side to record their second victory of the season You remember they've now only managed 2 wins and 1 draw, putting them to 7 points, which I think leaves them second bottom still, but at least they managed to pick up a victory. Then moving forward, Everton were 1-0 winners away at Nottingham Forest. Dwight McNeil scoring in that one. Then we had a shambolic performance from Manchester United as they lost to Newcastle by a goal to nil. Anthony Gordon, who seems to be a giant killer, still on the score sheet this time around. Remember, he did score as Newcastle beat Arsenal by a goal to nil. He also managed to score when they lost to Liverpool by 2 goals to 1. So I did think that Manchester United failed to replicate the desire they did express in their midweek draw against Galatasaray, that 3-3 draw in Istanbul. They failed to replicate that desire, that passion, playing with intensity. They failed to bring all that to St. James's Park. Never mind that Newcastle were brilliant on the day, but I did think their Newcastle's brilliancy was largely dependent on Manchester United's poor performance. Harry Maguire oftentimes came to the rescue of this Manchester United, so much so to the extent that a colleague on the other side described him as the Fabio Cannavaro of the day. Quite an elaborate description in that case. But he did try to put up a good performance in what seemed to be a shadow of a Manchester United that played in midweek. Sometimes it begs a question, and this is not the first time we've seen this kind of performance. You remember when they went in the Carabao Cup and beat up against Crystal Palace by 3 goals to nil, and then played the same team in a Premier League fixture in the subsequent weekend and lost to the same side by a goal to nil in just a space of 2-3 days. So they didn't play with the same intensity and passion that they had played with in the midweek. So it's exactly what we saw yesterday from this Manchester United side that kind of leaves a good number of question marks. Somebody I was watching somewhere, and somebody was saying that it does not help Manchester United to progress to the next stages of the Champions League or even drop off to Europa League. It would benefit them if they only have the Premier League to concentrate on. Maybe they are right, but that's their view. But for a team of Manchester United's caliber, more is really expected of them. I really did think that they put on a good performance. So again, it was Newcastle captain Kieran Trippier providing the assist in that game. Seems to be finding himself quite at the end of many assists this season. He's on brilliant form. Beautiful game of football. And then Sunday brought us more action from a different stadium, with Bournemouth sharing the spoils with Aston Villa. Aston Villa leveling it late through Oli Watkins, but they were on the verge of defeat in that one. But again, Bournemouth couldn't hold out for that victory. So 2-2 it ended. Anton Semenyo on the score sheet, as well as Dominic Solanke. That's for Andoni Iraola's side. While on the other side of Aston Villa, it was Leon Bailey and, like I said, Oli Watkins who scored to level matters. And then we had Chelsea beat up against Brighton. Beautiful game of football there. Never mind that Chelsea were also reduced to 10 men when Conor Gallagher was given a red card in that one. It was Enzo Fernandez who scored a double, that one including one being a penalty, while the other was by Levi Colwill on the score sheet for Chelsea's side. For the side of Brighton, it was Facundo and João Pedro who scored for Roberto De Zerbi's side as they were condemned to a defeat. Chelsea returning back to winning ways. Then, a very entertaining fixture also at the London Stadium there, as West Ham shared the spoils with Crystal Palace in a 1-1 all draw. Mohamed Kudus scoring for David Moyes' side was there, while Olson Eduardo brought the restored parity for Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace. And then, like Super Sunday often offers, gave us a blockbuster at Anfield, where Liverpool beat up against Fulham by 4 goals to 3. Liverpool, leaving it late there through 20 Alexander-Arnold on the score sheet to win it for Jurgen Klopp's side. But summer signing Wataru Endo was also on the score sheet in that one, while Darwin Nunes did hit the woodwork in what was a very entertaining game. Leno, very unfortunate, scoring an own goal, first goal of the tie between the two sides, while Alexis McAllister was the other on Liverpool's score sheet. On the side of Fulham, it was Harry Wilson, Kenny Teti, and Bobby De Cordova-Reid that scored for Marco Silva's side, but they couldn't hold out for a point at Anfield as Liverpool won it by 4 goals to 3. So that was the action from Super Sunday, but like I said, the other fixture for Super Sunday between Manchester City and Tottenham, and perhaps by the time you get to watch this, the fixture will have already been played. So, what do those results mean for the look of the Premier League table? Here is what the table looks like after match day 14 with just one game left to play. Arsenal kept their top spot after 14 games, recording 10 victories, putting them at 33 points. Remember, they've drawn 3 games and lost 1. That was against Newcastle. Liverpool have moved into second place following that victory against Fulham to 31 points, while Manchester City dropped in third before as they play Tottenham on the other side in Aston Villa with 29 points. Then you had Newcastle leapfrog Manchester United after beating them by a goal to nil to move to sixth place there on 26 points, while Manchester United dropped seventh on 24 points. Brighton and Hove Albion in 8th place with 22 points, while West Ham United, after that draw with Crystal Palace, are 9th with 21 points. Chelsea, after their victory against Brighton and Hove Albion, moved to 10th place on 19 points, while Brentford, are in 11th. Crystal Palace find themselves in 12th, Wolves in 13th, Fulham in 14th, Bournemouth in Nottingham Forest in 15th, Bournemouth in 16th, Luton Town in 17th, while Everton, Burnley, and Sheffield United complete the bottom 3 of the Premier League table. Now, before I let you go, just to let you know that there will be games in the middle of the week, that is on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for Premier League's match day 15. As you all know, we've entered December, and it's usually a very, compact period for the Premier League as they play so many fixtures to try and reach that half-season mark by the 31st of December. So a lot of fixtures will be coming your way. So they will play in midweek, play weekend, then return to the continental scene in the Champions League, Europa League, and UEFA Conference League to have their match day 6 played before returning again for the Premier League. Remember, in January, the FA Cup starts, especially for these Premier League teams. So there will be all that action. Plenty of action that will be coming your way from the Premier League this month. So keep it on the channel, and I will be updating you on things from that side. But just to give you a snippet of what's to come in the midweek, you'll have Arsenal visit Luton Town. Wolverhampton Wanderers will host Burnley. That's on Tuesday, while plenty of fixtures will be played on Wednesday, where Brighton will host Brentford. Crystal Palace will be at home against Bournemouth, while Fulham will host Nottingham Forest. Liverpool will be away to Sheffield United, while Manchester City will also visit Villa Park to play Aston Villa. Manchester United will be at home against Chelsea, while on Thursday, Everton will host Newcastle United, while Tottenham Hotspurs will welcome West Ham United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So that's the action that will be coming your way in the midweek on match day 15. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time. Stay blessed.